Supercluster, the graphic novel series that I'm working on, takes place in a future where people have been able to find alternatives. They're not perfect, and like in a lot of ways there's still a lot of systemic inequality and stuff, but a lot of what inspires me to tell this story is feeling fatigued with the typical dystopian literature. Like
Mm,
I love a good dystopian fiction, but it feels like the only thing people can imagine for ourselves for what happens next. And so I want to really show not just anybody, but specifically like Black and brown queer people surviving and having fun and like having community in a future that isn't really meant for us to survive in. So people
yeah.
surviving in spite of military autocracy, like pseudo panopticon, where they're like, no, everybody's on our side now because we killed all the enemies, like that feels like the world that like the turning points want.
Mm,
But I'm incompatible with that sort of world, right? So I
right.
want to write a future that's compatible with my continued existence. And I think
Well,
I'm noticing a lot of people want those types of stories as
I was gonna
well.
say we're finding our audience more and more now than ever. Especially speaking to Black and brown queer people that like we've been sort of blocked out of other spaces for so long, and you might have one or two people pop up, but I think like you said, the future that we want to see, I think we have to create it and talk about it in ways that make sense for us from our own voice and our own point of view. I think other folks have tried to speak for us in so many genres, whether it's comics or movies or television, that it's foreign to us. And we're like, no, we're going to take the lead and we're going to say, how it's determined. And I think that's so important. So that's kind of why I was like wondering if you feel like your audience has shifted with you, because I feel like mine has for sure. And it's grown, it's expanded surprisingly, but I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I'm happy about it too. I think that I have people are honestly excited to see what I make, and it's more that it's still hard to live out here being who we are.
Yeah.
And so I'm still getting my act together so that I can satisfy this audience that I've been building for over a decade at this point. I mean, when I was writing the script for the chapters 2 and 3 of Supercluster, I was writing that with a cohort of students and professors who were being impressed by the work. So I have some professors and academics in like decolonial theory that are like excited to read my comics, you know what I mean? Or even people like John Jennings, who was the reason I went to the MFA in comics program. I went to the BCAF in 2018 and brought my sketchbook with me and showed it to him, and he was like, man, you got to apply to this program. That was in 2018.
Right.
He's gone on to write for Marvel. He has his own imprint, like he's a professor at Riverside. Like I've noticed that the people who I met years and years ago are also excelling, and that gives me hope, because it's like, okay, well, I really am only 5 years out of that grad program. So
Yep.
in a way, even though I feel like I'm behind, it's because I'm falling victim to that same process that I tell my students to avoid, which is like comparing yourself to others. Like in the
Yep.
scheme of things,
Yeah, check.
5 years is not a lot of
It's
time.
not a lot. And definitely check out the interview that I got to do with John on my YouTube channel.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, sat down with John, who's amazing. He's an amazing mentor for me too.